Madam President, we have today a window of opportunity to advance new Israeli-Palestinian water arrangements that can improve livelihoods, foster confidence building, and advance peace. And the looming climate crisis demands that we do so urgently. Israel's leadership in the water sector, the dire impact of the climate crisis on Palestinian freshwater availability, and the new coalition government in Israel all combine to create a unique context in which decisions could be taken towards conflict resolution, cooperation, and trust building in the water and climate sectors. A long-standing impediment to progress in Israeli-Palestinian water issues is the zero-sum mindset that sees one side's gain as the other side's loss. This is why at EcoPeace we work on the ground with schools, municipalities, with young professionals and decision makers. We highlight to all that from an environmental perspective, we are fully dependent on one another, and therefore working together is not doing a favor to the other, but an issue of self-interest and mutual gain. Our Green Blue Deal report calls on our governments to act cooperatively on water issues under a climate crisis paradigm, rather than continuing to hold water issues hostage to the politics of final status. By advancing the Green Blue Deal, we can achieve water security and climate resilience for Israelis, Palestinians, and all in our region. Madam President, the status quo threatens water security and public health. Israel is well known for its leadership in the water sector and its ability to advance climate adaptation on water issues. Over 70% of Israel's drinking water is now sourced from desalination plants. In addition, Israel is a global leader in treating and reusing wastewater for agriculture, creating water security for its farmers. But while Israel has achieved a high level of water security, the conflict-related sanitation crisis in the West Bank and Gaza threatens the gains that have been made. In the West Bank, over 60 million cubic meters of Palestinian-sourced raw and poorly treated sewage is released annually into the environment, contaminating scarce groundwater. Israeli and Palestinian communities that live in close proximity to the 12 cross-border streams suffer from severe public health concerns. Similarly, the conflict-related sanitation crisis in Gaza risks the health and welfare of Palestinians and Israelis alike. The sewage from Gaza released into the Mediterranean leads to the intermittent closure of Israel's southernmost desalination plants, directly impacting Israeli water supply. To protect its citizens, Israel unilaterally builds sewage treatment plants on its side. Israel, however, deducts the cost of sewage treatment, including the capital cost of construction, from Palestinian taxes. In 2019, these deductions totaled over 110 million shekels. The deductions weaken the PA and create a disincentive to find sanitation solutions on the Palestinian side. As indicated in a 2017 report of the Israel State Controller's Office, the current water and sanitation arrangements fail both sides to effectively protect shared natural waters. This failure poses a threat to the gains made in Israel's water security. Madam President, the climate crisis further contributes to Palestinian water insecurity. At EcoPeace, we're determined to help our governments and peoples understand that the climate crisis must lead to increased cooperation. Israelis and Palestinians experiencing firsthand the impact of the climate crisis. Climate change is no longer seen in our region as theoretical. It is recognized by all as an immediate threat to water, health, and national security interests. As detailed by Nada before me, the combination of conflict, internal management issues, and the climate crisis is significantly contributing to Palestinian water insecurity, loss of livelihood, and animosity towards Israel. Madam President, the new coalition government in Israel presents new opportunities. In recent months, coalition partners in Israel have reached out to the PA with a desire to increase cooperation in the environment and water sectors. If implemented, such cooperation will improve the reality on the ground and build confidence essential to advancing peace efforts. Led by the Ministry of the Environment, Israel has identified the climate crisis as an issue of national priority. Israel has expressed a desire to work closely with the Biden administration and Secretary Kerry in the global fight against climate change. Most recently, President Herzog created a national climate forum, and a working group on regional cooperation was established, which I have the honor of co-chairing. The link between the climate crisis and regional security is also acknowledged by the Israeli security community. Madam President, these are our recommendations to the Security Council. Since Nada, Yana and I presented before the Security Council 3 years ago, much has changed. We outlined then a vision of how governments could promote climate resilience by harnessing the sea through increased desalinated water, to be powered by harnessing the sun through large-scale investment in solar energy. Within less than a year since the release of our Green-Blue Deal report, much due to the opportunities and changing circumstances described above, the governments of Israel and Jordan signed a declaration of intent to establish a large-scale solar facility in Jordan, which will sell electricity to Israel in exchange for desalinated water sales to Jordan. The deal represents a landmark climate resilience agreement for our region. The same Green-Blue Deal rationale can now bring water security for Israelis and Palestinians, build confidence, and keep alive prospects for peace. We ask the Security Council and relevant UN agencies to embrace a climate resilience perspective and to prioritize Israeli-Palestinian climate security by calling on the parties to advance new arrangements for natural water allocation and pollution control. We invite foreign ministers to follow the lead of the Foreign Minister of Finland, His Excellency Pekka Haavisto, and help create a coalition of the willing to advance a Green-Blue Deal of climate resilience in the Middle East. We call on the Eastern Mediterranean Gas Forum to widen its mandate to include renewable energy and climate concerns in order to be a primary vehicle to advance climate security in our region. And finally, we call on the Security Council to recognize globally that climate change is a threat to peace within the meaning of Article 39 of the UN Charter. Let me also thank the EcoPeace staff in Amman, Ramallah and Tel Aviv, our board and the members of EcoPeace's International Advisory Committee. Thank you, Madam President, for this opportunity to present our civil society perspectives